092022. Welcome to Power Corridor on Law FM 103.9. Power Corridor is a radio platform for discussions aimed at giving clarity and balance to issues with the view to setting the right agenda for positive societal change. To join in the conversation live or catch up on previous episodes, follow, listen, and watch the live stream on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Law FM Radio. I repeat, facebook.com/Law FM Radio. Our Instagram page is at Law FM Radio. Our Twitter handle is at Law FM_radio. You can listen live on our website from anywhere in the world at www.lawfmng.com. lawfmng.com. The studio numbers. You want to save these numbers at this juncture because you will need them when you want to ask questions or make inquiries or give opinions when we open the lines. The studio numbers are 070-322-77338, 070-322-77338, and 090-9555 1039, 090-9555-1039. You can either call or send WhatsApp and text messages through the lines too. My name is Gbola Oba and I'm available on social media. Facebook.com/Gbola.Oba, Instagram page at Gbola Oba, Twitter handle at Gbola Oba. Our Nigerian proverb for today: the same sun that melts wax is also capable of hardening clay. The same sun that melts wax is also capable of hardening clay. And summary of major news headlines for today. Makinde reportedly demands Ayu must resign, whilst Atiku meets PDP stakeholders in Ibadan. Makinde reportedly demands that Ayu must resign, whilst Atiku meets PDP stakeholders in Ibadan. I think it's about time Atiku did something about this lingering Ayu, because it may cost him the presidential laurel. Insecurity. Northern governors and traditional rulers back state police. Insecurity. Northern governors and traditional rulers back state police. I thought they were recalcitrant or obstinate against it before. Now reality slaps them in the face and they now know that it's about time they implemented it with a view to rescuing the society from the chaos and the utter lawlessness that they've been thrown into. Insecurity again. Be vigilant. Gani Adams tells Southwest leaders and residents. Insecurity. Be vigilant. Gani Adams tells Southwest leaders and residents. Anybody who lives in the Southwest who does not know that things, especially when you go out of Lagos are no longer normal, that person must be living in delusion. A friend of mine will be traveling tomorrow in a convoy with security fully engaged to Ekiti for somebody's mother's burial, and I was telling him, I will never follow anybody beyond Ibadan now for any burial. I'm sorry, it's my opinion. I know life still exists in those places, but let's be very honest with ourselves. Never go eastward beyond the Ijebu-Ode, northward beyond Ibadan. We go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we do a little intro and formally introduce our guest, who is already sitting pretty in our studio. See you after break.
Power Corridor on Law FM 103.9.
The people.
There was a time we were to spend 1 point something million for the people of Surulere, and we were told that the local government should add 500,000 naira into it at that time.
The issues.
Imagine me going to detention for 4.5 months for doing nothing. I was just asking for a better stay. My brother getting killed, I getting shot.
The political scene is open to interpretation, a path to possible choices. But where are we headed in this political corridor?
They didn't want to let the people who are supposed to collect that money be aware of it.
Open these doors on Power Corridor with Gbola Oba every Monday, Wednesday and Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. to discuss political trends as they happen.
Law FM 103.9.
Where we take your business from where it is to where it should be.
You are listening to Law FM 103.9. Don't touch that dial.
Power Corridor on Law FM 103.9.
Welcome back to Power Corridor Cruise on Law FM 103.9. Power Corridor is a non-partisan radio platform for discussions aimed at giving clarity and balance to issues with a view to setting the right agenda for positive societal change. The numbers you want to keep now are 07032277338, 07032277338, or 09095551039, 09095551039. We start today's formal introduction by doing it the way we usually do it, giving historical perspective to the main topic of the day. The Students' Industrial Work Experience Scheme, commonly called CWES, was established by ITF, Industrial Training Funds, in the year 1973 to solve the problem of lack of adequate proper skills for employment of tertiary institution graduates by Nigerian industries. It, that is CWES, was founded to be a skill training program to help expose and prepare students of universities, polytechnic and colleges of education for the industrial work situation to be met after graduation. This scheme serves as a smooth transition from the classroom to the world of work and further helps in the application of knowledge. The scheme provides students with the opportunity of acquainting and exposing themselves to the experience required in the handling and managing of equipment and machinery that are usually not made available in their institutions. Before this scheme was established, there was a growing concern and trend noticed by industrialists that graduates of higher institutions lacked sufficient practical background for employment. It used to be that students who got into Nigerian institutions to study science and technology were not trained in the practical know-how of their various fields of study. As a result, they could not easily find jobs due to the lack of working experience. Therefore, the employers thought that theoretical education going on in higher institutions was not responsive to the needs of the employers of labor. This was a huge problem for the thousands of Nigerians until 1973. It is against this background that the fundamental reason for initiating and designing the scheme by the fund in 1973-74 was introduced. The ITF organization, Industrial Training Fund, made a decision to help all interested Nigerian students and establish the CWES program. It was officially approved and presented by the federal government in 1974. The scheme was solely funded by the Industrial Training Fund during its formative years, but as the financial involvement became unbearable to the fund, it withdrew from the scheme in 1978. In 1979, the federal government handed over the management of the scheme to both the National Universities Commission (NUC) and the National Board for Technical Education (NBTE). Later, in November 1984, the federal government reverted the management and implementation of the scheme to ITF. In July 1985, it was taken over by the Industrial Training Fund, while the funding was solely borne by the federal government. Our guest today, former two-term Lagos State Polytechnic rector, has urged tertiary institutions to help jobless youths who are traveling by foot, some of whom are traveling by foot to Europe to seek greener pastures with the acquisition of skills. Speaking with the Nation newspaper, the pioneer executive secretary, Lagos State Technical and Vocational Education Board, LASTVEB, said tertiary institutions could award degrees and certificates in skills. He said, of serious concern is the exodus of youths crossing the Mediterranean, and since skills are valued overseas, these graduates can then approach embassies and present their skills certificate alongside their degrees. Today, we have the honor and the privilege of having engineer Olawumi Gasper live in our studio. Sir, it's a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How does one start? If this problem was perceived in the early 70s and efforts were made to institutionalize solution to the problem as far back as the early 70s, it is now a nasty, dirty, ugly fact still slapping us in the face that the problem persists.
Absolutely.
Where do we go from here, especially in another election cycle where politicians seem to forget, with all the promises they make, they seem to forget that the magnitude of the change they can make will be
Instructional.
will be related to the degree of skills that the citizenry can leverage to help them transform their policies to reality. Sir, how do you want to start?
Indeed. I mean, you've captured it all. Skills for employment, skills for self-reliance, skills for career progression. But there's a new one, skills for migration. So how I wish I...
It's a jackpot generation anyway.
Jackpot generation. I mean, and you cannot stop any young man from doing that. But it's, and you see, like you rightly you really articulated properly what it is, the challenges, and especially with the agencies created by government to promote skills in the country. unfortunately enough for us, we're very good in traveling to see what is done elsewhere. But it looks as if we just dropped everything we've learned at Murtala International Airport or Abuja
When we come back.
Airport or Port Harcourt International Airport once we're back. There's no rocket science in skilling the youths. And we've said it. Is either you skill the youths or you keep growing agitated, militant, unhappy young boys and girls in our various communities. And once you go the inch or the mile to get a young boy skilled, what you've provided for
a young person, so that
I don't offend the
female.
Yeah, you want to get a young person.
To.
You want to get a young person skilled. Honestly, you are not only putting food on the table of that young person. You're not only empowering that young person,
building self-esteem.
You're not only building self-esteem. You are, in addition, what most people don't know, you in addition providing for the young person's family.
Inevitably.
And we've seen it, inevitably. And we've seen it. A young person comes into a technical college, first year, in the area of probably construction, any construction trade. After the first semester, the second semester, by the time he learns,
the basics.
From being a rookie, learns, he starts going around with his master. The teacher or instructor starts taking him around. Somebody who probably would not be able to feed himself
now starts
getting 4,000, 5,000, and we really don't appreciate the level of poverty. If we do, we will know that the 3,000, 2,000 that young boy brings home is what will be used to feed not only himself,
maybe the indigent parents.
And that's why we say, unfortunately enough for us, the societal perception about skilling is also an issue.
The cultural baggage.
I don't want to call it cultural banditry around skilling. I don't want to use such a hard word.
Everybody prefers that his or
her own gets a certificate.
Child or goes to a theoretical school, comes out with a certificate. Certificates in themselves don't solve problems. Skilled human beings do, and yet we look condescendingly at those who go for vocational
training
and skills training.
And that's why I like a particular American word. He who puts food on the table is the master. If you can't put food on the table,
show me the money.
Show me. You pick up a certificate, you hold a certificate, no matter how beautiful that certificate is, and the certificate cannot provide full. And I don't want to go into issue of return on investment on education, because that's another thing that I know you come to ask me later about.
We're looking at a situation where from the ITF to the policy development of CWES to where we are now, there are plethora of legislations in Nigeria, from the federal to the states, that speak to the importance of using institutions and agencies, ministries, departments and agencies, to find a mechanism of making vocational skills attractive to our youngsters. I met you, sir, about a decade or a little over a decade ago as the pioneer executive secretary of the Lagos State Technical Vocational Education Board, which in itself is a formal agency of state in Lagos State.
Yeah, the main regulatory
But
agency.
the truth as we speak now, Lagos being the most populous state in Nigeria, the truth as we speak now is that one goes on the streets of Lagos and you see youngsters who at best are begging or in some very, very depressing circumstance, even robbing people on the streets. We don't live in a military state. People cannot just be picked on the streets and be incarcerated and be forced to. What can we do?
I must say that it's a major challenge to government, a major challenge to even policymakers. I'm deep in it, so I can I can express my feelings and I can share my feelings with people, and it's something that saddens me personally about our youths. I don't know where we lost some values. Somehow along the line we lost some values. I don't know. I don't want to say much about the federal government or other subnationals, but I want to say a little bit about Lagos that I know very much of. That to say that with all the efforts of Lagos State government through so many intermediary agencies
and programs,
LASTVEB, and so many others, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised to the fact that with all incentives, even with allowances attached to it,
as a monthly
stipend,
sometimes
so to come over to
lunch
available
provision
on site or in college, opportunity for you after training to be attached to
enterprise
empowerment, entrepreneurship development. We still find it difficult to get the young persons into vocational trades, into some of these trades. So difficult that you keep going to the radio, going to churches, and which is something different in other climes. Because I've studied skills development globally and virtually all parts, and I would say with all sense of humility that I've virtually visited all that are successful in skills development, and that I've deployed skills development in solving youth and employment issues. Very easy, no rocket science.
Brazil,
Germany is done it, South Korea is done it, Singapore has done it, Malaysia perfectly well doing it. And you see, unfortunately enough, same models we go to copy, but we still don't get our youths there. And I look at it to say, why? Is it because we're a highly certificated country? Because what we have is that the focus, everybody you must go to university first. Everybody you must go to polytechnic first. Then I came up with a model to say, yes, since we're lucky things are changing now, Nigerian youths are graduating at 21, 20, 22. It's a bit faster now, apart from the ASU issue, which I don't want you to take me up on. They graduate very fast. You find a young man, 22, 23.
We are speaking to the victims of the ASU issue.
Yeah, exactly. So at 22, 23, I just came up with it. Okay, let's look at it. Can we have graduate vocational skills training model? Since the school leavers are finding it difficult to be attracted, school leavers are not picking up skills training, and knowing fully well that on the other end of it, the benefits are quite immense.
Let me make a confession to my listeners. Engineer Olawumi Gasper I met about a decade ago, or just a little over a decade, as the founding executive secretary of Lagos State Technical Vocational Education Board. Because of the commitment I saw in him, the unusual commitment that you see in public servants. I am always very disrespectful of public servants, I must say, because Their salaries are guaranteed, their perks are guaranteed, and you know what? For me, Gbola Oba, they are not particularly motivated to want to go the extra mile. But this gentleman, I met him in a circumstance that I felt, was it because are you even used to mock him? But Abefeje governor Lagos State, I then discovered that it was just passion. So along the line, we became closer, and he is the president of a training institute that I envisioned and co-founded with him and some other persons. And like he's saying, he walks his talk. I am not one who is given to, he walks his talk, because you know what? In our training institute, we've even devised training packages and suites for young graduates who may need practical experience, not only for employability, but indeed for self-enterprise, self-employment. And I must be honest with you, because the youngsters are not coming, and I am not one to blame the youngsters. It was the values. I tell people, I got to Germany at about the age of 24, 25 when I left Mushin, and yet amongst Nigerians then, one common thing was that some of our boys will go into stores and go and steal. But because the values with which Iyaleja raised me was such that I knew it was inconsistent, antithetical to my raising, I never stole a pin. And people would go steal TV and steal things and be selling. Now, what I'm saying is that I don't blame the youth, because the values that those of us who are adults have imparted into them. We indeed, with this gentleman, we went outside our areas of specialization to galvanize a TV reality show production to encourage the youths to come into. If you are listening to us this evening and you have ideas of how many of the opportunities that we can signpost youngsters to for skills empowerment, for enterprise empowerment, if you have ideas of how we can work those ideas, please, when the lines are open, and the lines will soon be opened, please call us, share those ideas with us. If you are a young person too, and you are depressed, schools are closed, and yet while schools are closed, people who have skills are earning good money. And I'm talking skills from coding to programming to plumbing to electrical installation to site management. Call us, trade ideas with us, because we really want to make sure that those of you who need these opportunities can properly appropriate it. Sir,
I tell you what, before you go on, I tell you just a quick one before you go on. About 2 or 3 days ago, I am supervising a lift project somewhere on the island.
Lift installation.
Lift installation. Yeah.
I must say that you're a mechanical engineer of many years.
Yeah. So, and I saw this. I would call him a fitter. Well, not better than a fitter. Somebody who, you bolt and nut here and there, fix up. And this guy has delayed our installation project for over 2 months.
Why?
He's sorted virtually everywhere.
Everywhere.
He left the project in Abuja
to fly to Lagos.
To come to ours, and they're waiting for him somewhere in Asaba.
He's not even a bona fide technician. He's just the first level of technical skills. Operational skills.
He was telling me 365 days in a year,
flying all over Nigeria.
He's busy, and I asked him, why don't you try and get one person who you'll be like Johnny Man
and train
so that, is it?
They don't want to come.
You can't get any.
They don't want to come. The numbers to call after a short break are 070-322-77338, 322-77-338 or 090-9555-1039. 090-9555-1039. Let me be a bit cheeky before we go for the commercial break. When is politics? The calls coming in droves. When is about things that will positively impact our people and society, let's do it as engagingly and as enthusiastically as we do when politicians come. If it's politics, I'll be giving you much of it, but occasionally I'll be spicing this program with empowerment opportunities like this, and sometimes we go into full-blown history. I'll be bringing historians in, and we can pick the history of, say, Ibadan, Ilesha. But having said that, if you want it juicy, this Friday is going to be juicy. Tunde Bank Anthony is coming. Monday, we are having confirmed Honorable Minister Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, confirmed is going to be with us. But you know what? I want you to be as passionate as you get with politicals when they come in as with this one. Go on a short break. When we're back.
Did you know?
According to Section 9 and 23 of the HIV and AIDS Anti-Discrimination Act, it is an offense for an employer or academic institution to require HIV test as a precondition to an offer of employment or admission. Breach of the law will warrant a fine of 500,000 naira for individuals, 2 million naira for organizations, and imprisonment of not less than 1 year.
Now you know.
When you listen to this station, you learn about your rights. You discover the law in ways you never imagined. You know why? Because we broadcast in your interest.
It's a problem that we are all experiencing in the country. Different parts of the country, the same thing is happening. So what do we call on to? Who do we hold responsible?
We impact knowledge.
If the grid is unable to shed the load that it ought to, it could also result in the collapse of the national grid.
Call it what you may, but we are here to stay. The law was never biased, so why should it be now? To every individual, we are Law FM 103.999.
There are no internal electricity.
The people.
There was a time we were to spend 1 point something million for the people of Sulele, and we were told that the local government should add 500,000 naira into it at that time.
The issues.
Imagine me going to detention for 4.5 months for doing nothing. I was just asking for a better stay. My brother getting killed, I getting shot.
The political scene is open to interpretation, a path to possible choices. But where are we headed in this political corridor?
They didn't want to let the people who are supposed to collect that money be aware of it.
Open these doors on Power Corridor with Gbola Oba every Monday, Wednesday and Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. to discuss political trends as they happen.
Law FM 103.9. Power Corridor on Law FM 103.9.
Welcome back to Power Corridor on Law FM 103.9. Waiting for us, sending June, the commercial break. These two questions. Engineer made a lot of heavy burden on skills acquisition as opposed to obtaining certificate. Is the engineer condemning class education? Also, you want to take note, sir? Also, how does skill acquisition help us in Nigeria when many available job opportunities pegged the qualification on how many certificates one have obtained and not skill acquired?
Yeah, let me take that quickly. I'm not saying university education is not good, or neither am I saying polytechnic education is not good. But what I'm trying to say in earnest is Because of the situation we have now, the current ecosystem, where we have huge unemployment, but we have opportunities, and we have gap in skilling, and we have very huge demand for skilled workforce. Don't shy away with your university education to go pick up a skill. If you've made up your mind as a school leaver and you want to go for skilling, please go ahead. You going for skilling after your school certificate does not mean that you cannot progress. Your career progression does not mean you will not go into the classroom to get a degree. No. But so what it does for you is the fact that you are sure of bread on the table from the one to the point where you would acquire your university degree, compared to somebody who's a school leaver,
independent.
Because fine, I know naysayers will deal with me, because university education is cheap. Goes in for a 4-5 year course just because he wants to go to a university. He's not passionate about it. He reads a program or a course that has no
just to get the
relevance to the demand in the economy, and you graduate and you are asking government to give you a job. What kind of a job will government give you? And how many jobs can government give? The best that government can do, and I'm a strong proponent of that, is to create an enabling environment for us to set up
enterprise employment.
For enterprise employment and enterprise deployment. That's all.
Speaking even as an employer of labor, we advertise positions to be filled, but because people don't have market ready skills,
that is it.
You carry a certificate in mechanical engineering. I need an automotive mechatronics maintenance and repair technician. You don't have the skills. What is the certificate worth to me?
I will not use my tight budget to start training you and sending you on courses. 9 months, 12 months.
Because enterprise is not charity.
It's not charity.
07032277338. 07032277338 or 09095551039. 09095551039. Now,
well, the second question he asked was on self-reliance.
Okay.
Skills acquisition.
Also, how does skill acquisition help us in Nigeria when many available job opportunities expect the qualification on how many certificates one have?
Now you said it. You said it. You gave an example of the need for a mechatronics guy, not a general mechanical engineer. That's what I do because I want to. I'm a businessman. I will not spend my hard-earned money to start training. If I'm going to even train you, in-house implants training, I can do 2 weeks. I can look at my budget and do 2 weeks, 4 weeks, but not to send you out again.
You must even have had the fundamentals, because if you don't come with the fundamentals, in-house training becomes useless, except we're talking about pedestrian, basic,
which is not what you do require.
Engineer Gasper, we have government programs. Many of these government programs, I know that many of them are quite well funded. The governments are ready, and I'm talking federal and states in some respects. The governments are ready to not only avail people with skills empowerment, but they are sometimes ready to give grants, loans at very low interest rates, single digits to empower, but these youngsters are not coming. What can we do? If you're also listening, call us. What can we do?
You see, government is trying, and government has tried, but I think government will keep trying, so that we'll be able to receive the social nuances of the youths. I just finished a particular session for the federal government, and one of the things we advocated, honestly, is increase the allowances, the monthly allowance. Yes, you're on training, but because we know we need the youths to be skilled, because we know we need the youths off the streets, and because we know the social implication of not getting them off the streets. So probably one way is if we have a very, very attractive allowance that can bring you into skills training. I know very well of a country, Brazil. In Brazil, there's a particular agency called Senai. Senai is the equivalent of ITF in Nigeria here. And if you look at what happens in Brazil, every young person, if you have 5 young persons in this room, 4 of those young persons will go for skilling, will go for skills development training, to show you how interesting it is. Yes, in the training centers, well-fed, beautiful food. The training centers, fantastic equipment, good trainers, and at the end of the day, a monthly stipend. And that system is paid for by the industry. It's paid for. It's similar to what I said, it's equivalent to ITF, because you know ITF was also contribution from employees,
from industry.
You know, from our
registered businesses.
So the same thing through. So I don't think we have an issue with the funding. So it's a matter of tweaking ITF for ITF to focus more on Nigerian youths, so that we can now accredit training institutions in addition to ITF training institutions. When I mean accredited, I'm not talking about one room paddy.
Like I usually say, usually say, if you say you are a training facilitator in an industry and you don't have a market interface, in that industry, you are a foster.
Yeah.
Because if you really train people in any skill, you must have a market interface. There must be people coming in to say, we want to solve this problem.
Can you give me 2 of your this thing? And you make money by helping them to get the personnel that will provide the solution, and those kids too will be given stipends. And that's the way out. So that maybe for the question you asked, to me that's the low hanging. Funding is not an issue. The fund is there. The fund is they are resident with ITF, so it's a matter of looking at it, taking a cohort of say 100,000, take a cohort of 100,000 nationally, and do a pilot with that cohort.
But we know that even international bodies and friendly nations also are putting monies on the table.
A lot.
As we speak.
A lot.
Some funds are coming from nations as far as the EU, North America,
UN agencies,
foundations. The fundamental problems too are still. We have raised a generation of people who want to hammer.
Yeah.
And we have also raised a generation of people. Parents now go to pay on how their children can be skilled in Yahoo IT skills.
And buy a HP laptop for them.
People are negatively mentoring youngsters to go and do Yahoo extra voodoo of a sort, believing they live in delusion, believing that I have this other question for you. Undoubtedly, Nigerians often look down on artisans and underpay them for their services. I want you to note this
Yeah.
point that this
Fantastic point. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Undoubtedly, Nigerians often look down on artisans and underpay them for their services. We have also seen that artisans often end up poor, living in poverty and penury. In view of this, how can an average youth be convinced about acquiring skills as against going to school to acquire certificate?
You see, that's a fantastic question, Ivy. Very relevant question, and I've always blamed these on the respective associations, the respective unions. Let's assume I'm a plumber. Having finished my training as a plumber, certificated, use the word freedom, and the next thing for me is to join an association. And I've always told most of the people who steer the associations, the presidents of most of these associations, they said, look, you guys don't appreciate what you have. You have skills. The next thing for you is to turn your skills into political skills. So political skilling starts where you'll be able to fight for what you are supposed to, who you are supposed to be first and foremost, and what you are supposed to earn. If you decide to say, look, I'm not going to leave my house to go and check your plumbing,
I would do in England. If you have a plumbing issue now in the Greater London area or anywhere in England, and you call the plumber before he comes to your house to even inspect the problem you're having, minimum you have to put minimum of £75 on the table just for him to or her to come and inspect. That is not in any way, shape, or form related to the amount that
which you're going to pay for his hourly rates and all that. So it depends. I've said it. It's tough. You might be tough. I mean, you have some.
The point I want to put to that is the fact that as we speak today in the Greater Lagos area, an unskilled person in a construction site earns minimum of 3,000 naira a day. Unskilled.
I think it's 4,000. I don't know.
Okay.
It's about 4,000.
Now, between 3 and 4, a skilled artisan earns 5,000 naira a day. Many listening, and I'm talking from a well-researched.
Oh yes.
An average person listening to me now is probably in a rented apartment. Many of the artisans that people talk condescendingly to
have houses.
They have houses on the outskirts of Lagos. They are mostly the landlords from the Jokos of this world to the Atons of this world, and we are talking
half a
2,
plot,
3,
1 room.
4 houses.
Start expanding.
And you know what? People see them in cities, and they we have another message here. It says, thank you, sir, for your brilliant thoughts shared. I'm a little confused here. Please, how does this affect the entertainment industry? Most young people today prefer to explore their entertainment options and even sports skills, which unfortunately the government doesn't support. Does it have to be technical skills all the time?
No. I mean, to me, the creative and entertainment industry is the largest industry in Lagos. I don't know if you know that place, but creative, entertainment, music,
and I know there are support systems too from LSETF
and all that
to what's the name of this sister, daughter of Baba, daughter of this senior advocate Terraculture.
Yeah, exactly.
I know she has a program even sponsored by some foreign government training school. Technical skills in console management, in camera works,
repairs,
in this thing, in image,
in construction, even lighting,
and all the skills in the entertainment. There's so many opportunities out there.
There are over 40. I can say that
in the Greater Lagos area that I know.
Skill sets, 40 skill sets alone in what
in the entertainment industry.
If you're doing production of a movie alone, over 40 skill sets. I mean, it's because we have not started. Voila, we've not started to say, look, can you give me before you even touch a camera, who certified you to touch a camera?
The numbers to call 070-322-77338, 070-322-77338, or 090-9555-1039, 090-9555-1039. Engineer Gasper, we have to be coasting home now. We have this. The call. We are the call that broke. What would be your words of encouragement to people listening to us now, whether they be parents, guardians, or indeed many of our youngsters who are somewhat disillusioned now? Schools, especially universities, federal universities, are closed. Many of them are feeling miserable because their life's calendar, from the way they see it, is somewhat disrupted. What would be your pieces of advice?
I'm an advocate, a very strong advocate of skills for migration. I'm very, very strong about that because I've seen it.
Let me get clarity for the sake of those who are. So many have even resolved now, because of the situation between the federal government and ASU, to send their wards and their children abroad to go and learn. I lived abroad for about 30 years, and I know that from basic skills such as knowing how to cook your food,
plait your hair,
to basic skills such as plumbing that somebody can learn in say 3 months. Those skills could be the difference between even how you get immigration problems resolved. If your funds are not coming to pay tuition,
to pay your tuition, or even pay your basic bills,
or pay your basic bills, paying for the place you put you rest your head, eating decent meals,
transport,
So when you say skills for immigration, what specifically are you talking about? Because we now live in where the reality of jackpotting is.
Skills for migration here is the fact that don't just step out of this country having a certificate only that you've acquired from a Nigerian university, BSc social science, BSc economics. You will sleep on the streets of Canada. But if you have just a 3 months training
in basic plumbing,
3 months training
in basic
in operational maintenance of an equipment,
graphic design,
3 months or 2 months training in
camera works, in culinary skills, basic cooking skills,
and get the proper certification for it. You're as good as maximum 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Something will beg you
get an entry level.
No, I have examples from Canada to Philippines to Australia, alumni of my two training institutes. In the last 2 months, I've had to give references to employers in Philippines, Canada, United Kingdom, for people who, before they emigrated, took the pain to do 3-6 months skills training. Now they have paid jobs. And because they've even been employed already, the employer wanting to give them proper classification for remuneration, they contact the institute in Nigeria.
Exactly. And that's all. I give a very good example. We still have some few minutes. As a young man, when I got to England, those good old days, scholarship, everything, but then, because young man, you still have, if you go to the streets, Bond Street, Oxford Street, you will still see something to pick out. So you need, and I was just passing by, that was during the vacation, and I saw advert for guillotine operator. Guillotine operator.
And you had operated one in Lagos before.
Of course, I'd operated one as
in a printer shop
before, and and I remember he's a Jewish guy. I just walked in confidently. He said, "Look," he said, "Oh, can you operate a guillotine?" I said, "Yes, I can operate a guillotine." When I saw the guillotine, really massive, very, very massive. But a guillotine is a guillotine, And he said, "Okay. Can you cut this piece off?"
And you did it.
I did it. Okay, fine. Okay. Start tomorrow morning. That's even that was an uncertificated skill. Because I did not acquire any certificate for it, but I had,
because you had the experiential background.
So
we really have to wrap it up now. We have reached the end of this. Like I said earlier on, Tunde Bankantoni, the concerned Lagos spokesperson for Friday, the Honorable Minister Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, confirmed for Monday. The program has been produced today by Paul Alex Umoso. Thank you for listening to us. Engineer Gasper, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you very much.
The people